Okay, so I will now share my screen. Please tell me if nawawala yung screen at the same time nawawala yung boses ko. Okay, so I will now share my screen, and I hope everyone has already read the handout that I actually posted. No, nag-advanced reading so that um, hindi siya masyadong struggling when you are listening during our discussion. So I will now share my screen. Can you see it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
po.
Okay. So let's start. Of course, once again, good morning, everyone. We will be discussing the first lesson. Now, although kung titingnan natin sa na post na what you call this course outline. By the way, speaking of course outline, the one that I posted first was your course outline, and then isusunod ko na yung syllabus of this subject. No, based on the course outline, I wrote there or I placed there module one, which is your VMGO, and then uh, yung kanina, siguro mga 12 midnight yon na-post ko successfully yung instruction of, wait, nag-automatic siya. For a while. Sorry, nag-automatic siya. Meron pa rin mga technical glitches, as we say. Share ako ulit. And then, okay. Sige. Oh, by the way, your VMJO was already the details for your VMJO activity was already posted together with the copy of course, the vision mission of the university at the same time the goal of the college. And I hope you understand the instruction given. And if you have siguro mga meron kayong mga katanungan, please ask me so that magiging successful yung activity ninyo, the first activity, which is your VMGO. No? So in our course outline, that was actually labeled Module 1. Okay, but technically, when we are to speak for the topic for this subject, the first topic really is this one, the utilization of assessment data, which also reflected also to your course outline. Okay. Remember during your CPE 105, no, siguro sa mga naging estudyante ko sa CPE 105, although we encountered time constraint really, no, and then the discussion on matters kay hindi talaga natin na-cover totally, especially the utilization of assessment data, since this topic was placed siguro siya sa bandang huli na talaga ng CPE 105. And we decided, and of course, kami ni Sir Arnold, hindi pwedeng kalimutan itong topic na ito, hindi pwedeng iwanan because this particular topic, no, this specific topic of CP 105 and CP 106 is very essential. That is why I told you kanina that CP 106 is a prerequisite of your CP 198 because of this reason. No? Kining utilization of assessment data. Because probably we will be talking basic concepts on statistics here. Basic siya or elementary or fundamental discussion on statistics siya, no? Naka-basic siya. Anyway, I did post already the problem sets. I hope you can follow those problem sets together with this lecture handout. No? Kailangan talaga nating i-practice. And of course, you really have to attend the class for you to understand no, kung ano man. And then of course, kung meron kayong katanungan, you can ask. This is the good thing of the virtual class. Okay, let's start. So the learning outcomes for this particular lesson at the end of this chapter, you should be able to. The first one is apply statistics in research and in any systematic investigation. Although you will not be doing research here, no. The one that the if you're gonna apply number one, no, the learning outcome number one, the application would be perhaps your CP198. Okay. Number two, construct frequency distribution for a given set of scores. I believe you all done siguro kay ay produkto kayo ng senior high school, and I believe sa senior high school meron namang statistics, tama ba? Meron kayong asignaturang statistics sa senior high school, tama?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So most likely hindi ito magiging ano ba 'yan? Hindi ito magiging unfamiliar sa inyo, uncommon. It is because the things that will be discussed, excuse me, the things that will be discussed here, especially the first chapter, would cover the basic concept of your statistics, yung na-encounter niyo during your senior high school. Number three, graph the scores using histogram and frequency distribution. Number four, calculate the mean, median, and mode, decile, quartile, and percentile of students' scores. Identify the different properties of the measure of central tendency. The central tendency here, specifically, we're talking about the mean, median, mode. And then number six, identify the uses of the different measures of variability. Number seven, calculate the value and make an analysis of range, mean deviation, quartile deviation, variance, and standard deviation of given scores. Differentiate standard deviation from coefficient of variation. Identify the properties of the different measures of variability. Apply the concept of skewness in identifying the performance of the students. The concept of skewness, children, parati itong lumalabas sa board exam, no? Sa LET. Okay. That is why we really have to understand the concept of skewness. But then again, you cannot understand the concept of skewness if you did not understand the prior concepts, the prior concept of skewness. Okay. Number 11, determine the spread of scores using the measures of variation. 12, compare the performance of the students using measures of central tendency and measures of variability. And then we have to convert raw scores to standard scores. And then number 14, determine the relationship of two groups of scores. And number 15, compute R and P value of scores and make an analysis. Okay, so those are the learning outcomes for this lesson. It is quite long, as you can see. We have 15 learning outcomes, and I hope that we really have to cover these things. No, this is very important. Nakakayanin natin to. Okay, kaya ba, children?
Kakayanin po.
Kaka-
Yung, baka yung iba dyan na ha, natutulog pa, di ba? Nakakomot pa yan, di ba? So okay lang kung nakahiga, kung ano, wala namang requirement siguro, no? I will not be strict with your whatsoever kung ano yung ginagawa niyo dyan. So long as you listen and of course you participate at some point. No? Okay. Okay. Of course we have to know who is excuse me. Okay. Of course, we have to know first what is the definition of statistics, because probably this is at some point siguro makaingon siguro ka nga parang nag-enroll tayo sa asignaturang statistics. So that is why we have to know first the backbone of our statistics. So according to here, statistics now is a very important tool in the utilization of the assessment data. Statistics that we are doing here is please paki-contextualize yan, ilagay natin yan sa konsepto ng edukasyon or sa education nga field, no? Because um, your statistics, the concept of statistics, we can actually ano ba yan, categorize statistics siguro sa dalawang kategorya. No? The first one would be the statistics, which is the pure statistics, and then the other one could be the educational statistics at some point. So nag-exist gid ng duha ka categories. Technically wala no, pero ang gusto kong ibig sabihin ko lang children is that when you hear the word statistics for this particular subject, please contextualize that in the field of education. So ginagawa natin tong statistics children hindi para maging intelligent tayo with numbers, but we do statistics because we wanted to understand what's in the number coming from your students, how to interpret the number of your scores, the scores of your classmates or your students. That's our main point here. Why we are listening about why we are listening to the concept of statistics. I hope that is clear, no? Iklaro natin yan sa ating brain, no, at some point. Okay. So again, statistics is a very important tool. Sir, meron talaga yung S children ha, hindi yan statistic. Okay? So statistics is a very important tool in the utilization of the assessment data, most especially in describing, analyzing, and interpreting the performance of the students in the assessment procedure. So that is, this is a very essential tool daw siya for us to know kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng 25 over 10, 25 over 10, 25 over 50 ng estudyante. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng 50 over 50 na score ng estudyante? Ano yung ibig sabihin na 97% over 100% ng estudyante? Okay. The teachers should have the necessary background in the statistical procedures used in assessment of student learning, no? Because really kung hindi masyado, actually our teachers hindi naman talaga kailangan ng advanced knowledge on statistics, no? Teachers are just required to know the important matters or important things on statistics, not really the technical one, because if the teachers would really have to go through the technical details about statistics, na mag-enroll na sila BS no? Pertigin ng lisuda. But then again, the teachers should have the necessary background in the statistical procedures used in assessment of student learning in order to give a correct description, no? In order to give correct description and interpretation about the achievement of the student. I told you kanina that the main reason why we are discussing statistics here is because we want to know kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng score ng estudyante. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin na yung estudyante always siya nakakuha ng zero sa lahat ng quizzes, no? Anong ibig sabihin niya, no? So, correct description and interpretation about the achievement of the students in a certain test, whether classroom assessment conducted by the teacher, kanang gag-quiz si teacher, unsa kay bot pasabot ano kanang nag-quiz si teacher og 1 to 10 pero nakakuha kag 1. Okay? Division or national assessment conducted by the Department of Education. Please take note, children, that we are done with the concept of evaluation, measurement, testing, and so on. And you all know that the main role of getting those things is to identify the performance of the students. No, we have to know the performance of the students. No, we got to know the scores coming from the test. For this particular topic naman, we will know kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng scores ng estudyante. Okay? So that is for the introductory part. And mind you everyone, this is the taxonomy of statistics. So we have two methods in dealing with the statistical. One, we have descriptive and of course inferential. Anyway, let's run through lang siya because we will be discussing each one, but the not really the very technical, very deep discussion. No? So we have descriptive and then inferential. Please take note of the terms. Under descriptive methods, we have univariate. We have so univariate. We have shape, center, spread, and then relative position. For bivariate, sir, bakit tinawag siyang bivariate? Dalawa. No? So that is why you will hear the word correlation and of course regression. Okay. You also have your multivariate, meant to say marami, no? More than two. So under that multivariate, you have the concept of multiple regression analysis. Okay. For inferential method naman, we also have here um, two groups, t-test, deep groups of t-test, and of course, ANOVA and other statistics. So, ang dami pa dyan. Huh? Ang dami, if you're going to research on the different methods, you will encounter different terms naman siya, very nosebleed kaayo. Okay, next would be this one. We have to inform ourselves kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng data. Sir, paano po yung i-pronounce, sir? Is that data or data? Okay, nakadepende yan. That geographically concerned na siya ang pronunciation of the term. No? You can actually say data, you can actually have data. Okay, sige. Don't worry, dili marong, no? Dili ta mabagsa kung lahi ato pag-pronounce, di mag-goal. Okay. So data consists of information coming from observation, count, measurements, or responses. So ang sinabi daw, when we say data or data, it is an information coming from different observations. So for example, mayroon ko nga, ay, parang ang dilim ng sky, parang uulan. That is an observation, therefore that is a data. Okay? Ay, by the way, data is in plural term. Okay, children, please take note. Data is in plurality term, and then datum is the singular term. No? For a while, no? Okay, okay. So again, your singular is data, and then that particular spelling, and then the singular is datum. Sa Bisaya, kung imo siyang kung ano yung datum, that's datum. Or let me write it. Singular na siya, that one. Okay? And then of course counts, no? Moingon ang yung teacher, okay, kindly count kung ilan yung absent or ilan yung present, that is considered to be your data. No? And then the measurements, okay, ano kaya yung ng sukat ng paa ko? Okay, that is still data. Data. No? And then of course responses. So, ibig sabihin ng responses, may katanungan ka, sino ba yung pinakamagandang guro sa College of Education? And lahat ng sagot, ako daw, no? For surfer. So the responses are considered to be data. Okay. Next term, we have again statistics. According to the technical definition of statistics, it is the science of collecting, organizing, analyzing, and interpreting data in order to make decisions. So that is very broad yun kaya ang concept sa, hindi naman siya broad, but very technical kaayo ang definition of statistics. It is because that is when we do collection, when we do organization, and at the same time, we analyze and interpret data. Dako kay siyang coverage in order to make decision. So right after doing those things, we come up with a particular decision. Okay. So ano po yung ibig sabihin ng decision? Later on, we will know kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng decision na sinasabi ng tinatawag nating statistics. And then of course, we have the term population and then sample. Kung titingnan natin. So a population is the collection of all outcomes, responses, measurements, or counts that are of interest. No? Kasi later on, during sa tong discussion, you will be encountering these terms, no? Population, sample, ano bang ibig sabihin? And by the time you will be enrolling sa CPE106 nyo, you will also encounter these terms. No? Kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng population at saka nung sample. Kasi there will be times na sabihin ng panel siguro ninyo na, okay, you get a sample of blah, blah, blah. Okay, what is the population size? The population, you get the population. Coming from the population, you will get samples, something like that. Okay? So again, when we see population, collection of all outcomes, not lahat na, responses, measurement, or counts that are of interest. Anyway, I will be giving you example which was already reflected sa handout ninyo, no? And then a sample is a subset of a population. Again, yung sample nanggaling siya sa population. So you have a large set of data. You get data coming from the population, and that is what we call sample. Okay? Please, if you have questions, please raise it after our discussion because right after every discussion, we will be having Q&A. So this is an example of populations in samples. In a recent survey, 250 college students at Union College were asked if they smoke cigarettes regularly. 35 of the students said yes. Identify the population and the sample. According to our representation here, ang data kinuha siya sa Union College, no? Responses of all students. Ang gusto nating malaman, children, kung nagsisigarilyo ba yung if the students are smoking regularly, no? So, ang 250 college students sa Union College, that is what we call the population, and then the responses of students in survey, we call it sample. So, ano po ibig sabihin, sir? The 250 college students at Union College, siya yung kinuhaan, no? Were asked if they smoke cigarettes regularly. So, siguro nag-survey ka ng 250, no, sa buong Union College, and then nakakuha ka, no? Of course, ang sagot lang ata dito would be yes or no, no? At some point, siguro naka-yes or no ka. The one who answered yes, that is what we call your sample. Huh? Sample because those are the responses coming from your 250 college students. Nakuha? Nakuha ba? Nagets?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. No, that is actually that is a very clear concept between population and sample. No, you have a very big population, and you the responses, specific responses, you have to get it in a very big population, and you call it sample. No, another example siguro kanang ano ba? Gusto niyo mahibalaan kung gusto niyo malaman if ako kung sino yung ano yung grade o ano yung year level sa education ang may mas maraming nanonood ng Korean novelas, for example. Okay? So meaning to say, ang population ninyo ay ang buong estudyante from first year to fourth year college. And then yung sasagot siguro ng yes or ang sasagot ng yes, that is your sample. Okay? So that is a very clear distinction between population and then of course your sample. I hope you get it. Next, definition of statistics, we have to go back. So again, statistics is a branch of science which deals with the collection, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of quantitative data. Say, sir, is it all quantitative data? It was stated here for the quantitative data. Ano pong ibig sabihin yan? We will be encountering the term quantitative data later part of the show. No? So I will be defining that. And then another thing, children, we have two branches or two types of statistics. We have branches, yes, we have descriptive statistics, and then of course we have inferential statistics. So when we say descriptive, a method concerned with collecting, describing, and analyzing a set of data without drawing conclusions. So ang other term of conclusion, mean to say the synonym of it is inference, no inferences about a large group. Again, ang ibig sabihin daw ng descriptive statistics, children, it is a method which is of course concerning about collecting, describing, and analyzing a set of data, pero that particular data, you will not draw conclusion in it. So ano po ibig sabihin? You will not judge, no? So sa to pa sigurong term para mas madaling makuha yung gusto kong iparating when we say descriptive statistics, meron kang set of data, children, pero sa set of data na yan, you will not judge. Ano ba ibig sabihin, sir? Meron tayong example later and you will know really what is the difference between descriptive and inferential. And then when we say inferential, it is a branch of statistics concerned with the analysis of a subset of data leading to predictions or inferences about the entire set of data. Dito naman, this is at some point opposite. So atong kung bibigyan natin ito ng layman's term, yung descriptive statistics, hindi siya nag-judge no, kung ano man yung data na nakuha. But in inferential statistics, because of the numbers, no, because of that particular data, you will lead to prediction. No, murag i-judge ni mo siya no kung ito yung sets of scores niya Alam mo kung ano yung magiging ganyan na the future, parang somewhat like that, no judgment or inferences. Anyway, to give you a very clear view, I will give you an example later. Okay. Again, the study of statistics has two major branches: descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Again, descriptive involves the organization, summarization, and display of data. That's all. No, you will not draw conclusion. Inferential statistics involves using a sample to draw conclusions about a population. So the concern of inferential, kaya nga tinawag siyang inferential, no inference, because out of the data you will draw conclusion on it. Let's try an example. In a recent study, volunteers who had less than 6 hours of sleep were 4 times more likely to answer incorrectly on a science test than were participants who had at least 8 hours of sleep. Decide which part is the descriptive statistics and what conclusion might be drawn using inferential statistics. I need somebody to tell me kung ano yung problema, kung ano yung nasa study. Can someone tell me kung ano yung nasa study? Anyone? Can someone tell me kung ano yung nasa study? No? Para lang gusto ko malaman kung naintindihan niyo ba yung no yung laman ng study na yun, na research. Anyone? Nawala? So ano nangyari? Natutulog lahat?
Sorry, sir.
Sir, try po,
Sir,
sir.
Sige, mag-try. Remember, hi, uh, these are graded. Baya. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So ano yung nandun sa study? Gusto ko lang malaman kung naintindihan ba yung nasa study.
Sir,
Yes,
mas,
anybody?
yes,
Okay,
sir.
Hanifa.
Accordingly, sir, mas an- yung mga volunteers daw po na merong less than 6 hours ay, na nakakatulog ng more than less than 6 hours is 4 times na hindi po nako-correct yung exam compare po dun sa mga nakakatulog ng more than 8 hours po.
Mhm, okay, thank you
Ay,
so much.
at least eight
Okay.
hours po.
Okay, very good. Okay. Thank you so much, Hanifa. No, tama, no? Yung sa research na yun, ang sabi niya na according to that particular research, ang sabi niya that yung mga volunteers daw natin, sige, tanggalin natin yung term na volunteer siguro, tanggalin natin yung term na volunteer, siguro estudyante. No? Bigyan natin ng idea for sa estudyante na part. Yung mga estudyante daw na yung tulog nila ay less than 6 hours, no? Less than 6 hours lang yung tulog nila, ay parang mas sila yung mas maraming mali when it comes to answering science test. Kumpara daw sa mga estudyanteng natutulog more than 8 hours. No, at least 8 hours, no? So yun yung ibig sabihin ng research. Now, the question is, according to, anyway, makikita nyo naman sa sagot, no, later on, we have to decide which part is descriptive and which part is inferential. Okay. According to our presentation here, no, the statement 4 times more likely to answer incorrectly is a descriptive statistics. No? Yun yung, sorry na nawala yung letter S for statistics. No? Yun yung ibig sabihin ko, children, that when we say descriptive statistics, we just have to look for the data alone. We are not judging it, no? Kanana, di ara tama. 4 times more likely to answer incorrectly. That is descriptive statistics. Now, the inference part now is kung ano yung ibig sabihin niya. No? An inference drawn from the sample is that all individuals, if you're going to look at here, parang nag-judge siya, no? Nagbigay siya ng tinatawag nating assumption, kung baga. No? Not really the term assumption, but we will use it for the purpose of understanding, no, kung ano yung ibig sabihin. Okay, an inference daw drawn from the sample is that all individuals sleeping less than 6 hours are more likely to answer science question incorrectly than individuals who sleep at least 8 hours. So that is the inferential part, no? So sa descriptive, sa katunga research, sa descriptive atunga research would be um, 4 times more likely to answer incorrectly. Walang ibig sabihin, di ba? Kung titingnan natin yung descriptive statistics, wala siyang ibig sabihin. Ang sinabi lang niya sa atin, 4 times more likely to answer incorrectly. That's all. Okay. Pero, pag titingnan natin yung concept ng inferential, that's the time na nag-judge siya. Ang ibig palang sabihin di ay that if you will sleep less than 6 hours, you will get you will get more mistakes in answering science test compared to those students who sleep at least 8 hours. And you are drawing conclusion. Okay. So ano pang another example? Let's have another example. Ano pa ba? So may example. Okay. So let's have this performance, no? Siguro. Na ay yung isang university, a particular school, and then merong board exam. Okay. And then sa board exam, nakakuha siguro sila, or ano na lang, test na lang siguro, no? Okay. Let's have the test, no? And then na ay different sections, hindi natin alam kung anong yung section 1, section 2. Siguro we will have section Bonifacio. Okay. Sa section Bonifacio children, nakita ninyo that most of the scores of the students, no, siguro ang perfect score siguro diha kay kuan, nagpa-quiz si teacher, ang perfect score kay 20. Okay. And then nalaman ninyo that most of the students, no, na nanggaling sa Bonifacio na section, nakakuha sila ng 15 pataas na score. Okay? So meaning to say, lahat ng estudyante sa Bonifacio na section, ang pinaka maliit na score is 15, no? 15/20. So yung scores nila 15 above. So, ano yung descriptive statistics na part? Ang descriptive statistics na part is that most of the students coming from Bonifacio got 15 above scores. That's descriptive. No? Parang nakita lang, that's a purely data. But when we say inferential statistics, you will now judge. No? You will now draw conclusion. Mo-conclude na ka. So what is now the conclusion? Perhaps may siguro ka na, siguro kining mga Bonifacio kay sila yung nag-study talaga. Siguro itong Bonifacio because they got 15 and above scores, they are the most intelligent among the other sections. Diba you are drawing conclusions? Nakita ang difference between descriptive and inferential children?
Yes,
Nakita?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Opo.
Any confusion? No, no, di ba? The other one is purely stating kung ano yung nasa research, purely stating. No, you are not drawing any conclusion. No, that is descriptive statistics. In inferential statistics naman, you are drawing conclusions coming from the set of data. Okay. Sige. Next, data classification. So data sets can consist of two types of data. So we have qualitative data, and then of course we have quantitative data. Okay, so when we say qualitative data, this is explicitly, no, you mentioned when we say qualitative data, consists of attributes, labels, or non-numerical entries. So that is very specific for qualitative. Kaya nga alam na natin, no, in the concept of statistics, between hair color and then yung number of books, you will know kung saan doon ang qualitative and quantitative, no? Probably because of the explicit kaayong definition between qualitative and quantitative. So qualitative, non-numerical entries; quantitative data, numerical measurements or counts. Okay. So for example, the grade point averages of 5 students are listed in the table. Which data are qualitative data and which are quantitative data? That is very clear, no? So on the first column sa ating table, we have student, no? The names of the name of the student, sorry. And then the second column, we have the GPA of each student. So yung mga pangalan, we can call it the qualitative data. And then yung GPA natin ng mga estudyante, we call it the quantitative data. Okay. Next. Okay, qualitative data can be separated into two subgroups. No, we have dichotomic and then we have we have polynomic. Sir, ano po yung ibig sabihin ng dichotomic? Because you will be encountering this one, especially siguro sa mga YRC members dito, no, kasali sa YRC club. I'm sure siguro nakarinig na kayo ng term na dichotomic or polynomic. So when we say for the qualitative data alone, again, these terms are for qualitative data. No? When we say dichotomic, if it takes the form of a word with two options, ibig sabihin, dalawa lang yung pagpipilian. Like for example, sex, male or female. Okay? Ano pa ba? Can someone give me another example of dichotomic? Yung dalawa lang yung pagpipilian. Children, anyone? Meron pa ba? Ang dami, no? Pwede nyo sabihin na boy or girl. Dalawa lang. Sex. Okay? And then the other one is polynomic. When we say polynomic, if the options here requires you to, if the options are more than two. No? So like for example, we have education. So we can have the primary school, secondary school, and university. Another polynomic siguro, pwede siya marital status. Pero ang iba kasing marital status children, ang gina-acknowledge lang sa ibang form ay single at saka married. But if you are going to stretch out marital status, you will have single, married, we have widow, widower, separated, divorce, somewhat like that. No? But then again, nakikita yan, sir, paano namin now makategorize yung marital status? Nakadepende. Okay? If there were form, no, ng mga forms natin na dalawa lang yung options, we call it dichotomic. Pero by the time sa mga forms na inyong lalagyan, especially kung sasagot kayo ng mga survey forms, no, kung marami yung options, okay, that's the time we call it polynomic. Okay. Sige. Nakuha yung concept ng dichotomic at saka polynomic?
Opo.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Next, we have here example data sample of qualitative data. The data are the colors of backpacks because according to here, children, di ba, ano yung qualitative are non-numerical. We made categorical, it may quality siguro. No? So the data are the colors of backpacks. You sample 5 students. One student has a red backpack, 2 students have black backpacks, one student has a green backpack, and one student has a gray backpack. Now, the qualitative data that you are getting from that scenario are the colors red, black, green, and gray. Okay? For this particular example or for this particular data sample, ang makukuha natin dito will be colors. Okay? Specifically again, red, black, green, and gray. Nakuha?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Next
Yes,
would
sir.
be your
Yes, sir.
very good. Next would be quantitative data. So quantitative data, according to our definition, that actually involves numerical entities. Quantitative data are always numbers and are the result of counting or measuring. Again, quantitative data are always numbers. Another thing, always numbers, yeah, that are a result of counting or measuring attributes of a population. Quantitative data can be separated into two subgroups. We have the term discrete and then continuous. So anong ibig sabihin ng discrete? Yung discrete, children, is the result of counting. So lahat ng pwede ma-count, we call it discrete. Okay? And then lahat ng pwedeng ma-measure, we call it continuous. Okay? So example of discrete, the number of students of a given ethnic group in a class. So like for example, sa isang grupo, meron tayong Branao, meron tayong Tausug, meron tayong Maguindanao, no? So by the time we will know, okay, ilan dito yung Branao? So nag-count ka 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Ilan yung Iranon? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. That is an example of quantitative data, specifically discrete data. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Uy, nakuha. Yung iba,
Yes, sir.
tumulo
Yes
yung
po,
laway,
sir.
no? Kaya natutulog ulit.
Yes,
Sige.
sir. Yes, sir.
Mag-quiz gali corona. Baka nakalimutan nyo, pwede tayo mag-quiz dito. Okay. Next would be the second one. We call it continuous. No? That is not continuous. That is continuous because right after N, you have still U. So sa continuous that is the result of measuring children. So kung na-measure na siya, for if the data is actually coming from or the result of measuring, we call it continuous. Like for example, mayroon ka nga, okay, from Comcent at saka padulong sa Idok, mo travel siguro ka og unsa man, pila man ka distance, 100 kilometers, for example, nagrabi na gyud kalayo. The 100 kilometers there is the continuous, that is quantitative data, specifically continuous. Okay? And then, siguro magpapalaba ka, I'm sure meron bang nagpapalaba dito? Meron bang nagpapalaundry dito? So yung mga nagpapalaundry dito, taas kamay. Pero remember, meron tayong raise hand dyan ha. Sino yung nagpapalaundry dito, taas kamay?
Wala siguro, sir.
Sa bahay lang
Ay,
po, sir.
wow. No, nagwash-wash lang, no? Walang pera eh. Yan
Naglalaba.
talaga, no? Kami din naglalaba, nagtitipid. Oh, no, kasi the 200 pesos siguro, the 300 pesos, pwede na yung makabili ng pagkain. Okay? Anyway, for those, pero naka-experience na kayo magpa-laundry.
Yes, sir.
O, di ba? Oh, yun. Oh,
Yes,
di ba?
sir. Mga
Sa
mahirap labhan.
Oh, yung mga mahirap labhan, like for example, yung mga kumot, no? Yun siya. You will notice talaga na ititimbang yan. Di ba? Merong mga laundry shop na, okay, dapat 8 kilos lang. Okay, maximum 7 kilos, di ba? And the weight of your clothes, children, that is an equivalent of what we call continuous quantitative data. Okay? So that is very clear. So we have here data sample of quantitative discrete data. Ano nga yung discrete? Ano nga yung discrete?
Counting.
Result of
Yung
counting, sir.
naka-count.
Yes, okay, very good. Tagbo, no? Counting, that is the result of counting. So the data are the number of books students carry in their backpacks. So ang kukunin na naman nating data, children, kung ilan yung mga librong nadala ng mga bata na no, dinadala. 'Di ba during our elementary years, no, kung na-remember ninyo, sa elementary years magud na mo ang among mga bag siguro kay piting dagkua, no? Kasi ang daming libro, tama? Na-experience niyo 'yan?
Yes,
O hindi kayo
sir.
na
Yes, sir.
Yes,
akala
sir.
ko hindi niyo na-experience, akala ko nag-college kayo agad. Okay. 'Di ba ang daming libro, no? Parang kung meron kang 10 subjects, parang meron ka ring 10 libro. At saka meron ka ring 10 notebooks. So ang dami talaga. That's parang naka-reverse, no? Reverse siya because during our elementary years, ang liit pa natin pero ang dami nating dalang libro. But when we go to high school, lumiliit na yan, yung iba makeup kit na lang yung dala. No? Pag ang tuong college, pampagwapa na lang gidala. So ano gidala? So our data set for the discrete data now is we are to count kung ilan yung libro yung dala-dala ng mga estudyante sa backpacks nila. Okay. So you sample 5 students. 2 students carry 3 books. 1 student carries 4 books, 1 student carries 2 books, and 1 student carries 1 book. The number of books, 3, 4, 2, and 1, are the quantitative discrete data. Nakuha?
Yes,
Yes,
Opo,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, no? So, kailangan natin yung malaman, children, because these concepts, no, these little concepts, you will not understand the preceding concept if you will not understand it here, no? Kasi nga, later on, dito na ko mag-discuss ang mga technical terms, no? And you will not understand those technical terms if you will not understand this one. Okay. Next, another example, quantitative data, continuous data. Ano po din siya? So, anong ibig sabihin ng continuous? Again, as lima. As lima. May measure, very good, no? Very, very active si Aslima, parang gising na gising, no? So, when we say continuous, very good Aslima, when we say continuous, that is
Yung
the result
nanometer,
of
sir.
measuring, no? So, the data are the weights of backpacks with books in them. So, ang malalaman na naman natin dito, yung data makukuha natin, ang yung timbang ng kanilang backpacks, dala-dala yung libro nila. So again, you sample the same five students. The weights, no, the weights is in actually in pounds. What is the symbol of pounds, by the way? What is the symbol of pounds?
LBS. Yung LBS.
LBS.
LBS, sir.
LB.
Very good. That is
LBS, sir.
LBS. We have to know that because during yung pagpanganak nato, no, kanang gipanganak nata, or girls, no, in the future, pag manganak mo, ang i-measure ng midwife is actually in pounds, yung bata. Okay? So, hindi pwedeng sabihin na, ma'am, yung anak niyo po, 10 kilograms. Ano na himon man 10 kilograms, pero tinadakuan ng bataan. So, in pounds na siya. So, we have 7 pounds, 8 pounds, or 9 pounds. No? I think the 9 pounds, ang laki na ng 9 pounds, no, for a baby. Okay. The weights in pounds of their backpacks are 6.2 pounds, 7 pounds, 6.8 pounds, 9.1 pounds, 4.3 pounds. Notice that backpacks carrying three books can have different weights. Weights are quantitative continuous data because weights are measured. Okay? So yung timbang, since yung timbang natin children will be measured, we call it continuous. Okay. Sir, ano po yung ibig sabihin ng measured na? Sir, nga, yung weights, hindi naman natin yan sinusolve. Okay. Although technically, in the concept of statistics lang, yung weights kasi kailangan nating malaman siya. No? We have to identify it, we have to measure it for us to know. No? That is why weights are considered to be part of quantitative continuous data. Nakuha? Nakuha ba?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
O,
Yes,
sige.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, sir.
Sige. Let's have
Yes,
this,
sir.
no? So let's try it, no? Please, siguro kung meron kayong kopya ng inyong handout, you go to the supermarket and purchase 3 cans of soup. No, and then the soup is 19 ounces. Cans of soup, tomato bisque. Okay, we pronounce it as bisque, tomato bisque. Tomato bisque, para lang yung ano, para siyang tomato paste, somewhat like that. Siguro pakita ko na lang sa inyo. Okay. When we say tomato bisque, para lang ma-imagine din natin, no? Kasi parang pangmayaman itong mga, yan. Nakita niyo?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Soup talaga siya ng tomato bisque, no? Hindi siya actually undeniably tomato, made up of tomato. Okay. Another thing, so according to our sample, here, 3 cans of soup, no, 19 ounces tomato bisque, 14.1 ounces lentils. Ano po yung lentil, sir? Yung lentil children. That is lentil. Meron ba tayo dito sa MCU? Ano? Munggos yung sa atin, parang munggos ato ang Bisaya. Okay. So that is your lentil, no? Okay. And then 19 ounces Italian wedding. No? Yung pagkabasa ko nito, akala ko, uy, bakit may 19 ounces Italian wedding? May kasal? Hindi siya kasal, no? It's actually talagang hindi talaga alam natin Italian wedding. It's also a soup, no? That's it. Italian wedding soup. Okay. Yan. And then 2 packages of nuts, walnuts and then peanuts, 4 different kinds of vegetable. We have broccoli, we have cauliflower, spinach, and carrots. Kumakain kayo ng broccoli?
Hindi po, sir.
Yes, sir.
So most likely hindi kayo kakain ng ano ba yan, ng chop suey. Ako, I don't eat chop suey because of the broccoli and then the cauliflower, no? Yung iba,
Yes.
lalagyan pa yan ng spinach, no? Parang ang alam ko lang, kalamunggay, no? Kalamunggay, mga lagot mo. And then of course, we have two desserts. 16 ounces of cherry Garcia, no? may pangalan yung ice cream. Sa atin, Magnolia lang, Selecta. Dito may pangalan. This is the Cherry Garcia. Kasi ang brand nito, children, American brand kasi, no? Cherry Garcia ice cream. Okay. That is your Cherry Garcia ice cream. And 2 pounds of chocolate cookies. Okay. So now I need somebody to name no data sets that are quantitative, discrete, continuous, and qualitative. Kahit alam ko na nandyan yan sa handouts ninyo. Okay. Okay, can someone tell me kung saan dyan ang quantitative, discrete na data?
Sir,
Yes, Abdullah? Try na.
yung quantitative discrete data is yung uh, yung cans of soup, yung dalawang packages of nuts, four vegetables, and two are data.
Okay, no? Diba, very good, no, Abdullah? Diba, alam naman natin that when we say discrete, that is the result of counting. No? Of course, ito yung 3 cans of soup. We have, ano pa ba? 2 packages of nuts. We have 4 different kinds of vegetable. We have 2 desserts. Ano siya? So those are your quantitative discrete. Now, how about quantitative continuous? Quantitative continuous? Yes, Jihad? Yes, Jihad. Are you going to answer? Or anybody, you can raise your hand.
Sir, ako po.
Jehan. Sino ba to? Jehan. Bashir? Tama ba?
Yes,
Jehan.
sir. Yes, sir. Sir, the
Jihad? Nawawala ka, Jihad. Sorry.
quantitative
Jihad, tango, no? Tango, tama ba? If I'm not mistaken, Jihad.
continuous data
Tangkusan. Okay.
are they
Jihad, nawawala ka talaga, Jihad. Sorry. Okay. So let's have Jehan Bashir.
yes, sir.
Yes, Bashir, can you identify the quantitative continuous? Wala rin si Bashir. Sino pa? Sinong pwede dyan
Sir,
magsagot?
can you hear me na?
Okay, yan. You're very clear, Jehad. Sige, sige. Go, Jehad. Continuous,
Sir,
Jehad. Yung continuous.
qualitative continuous data, sir, is the weights of soups, which are the 19 ounces, the 14.1 ounces, and the 19 ounces.
Okay, no, meron pa tayong yung 16 ounces at saka 32 ounces. Okay, that's correct, that's correct. And then how about the qualitative part? No? Saan dito yung qualitative sa scenario natin? How about qualitative? Taas kamay.
Sir, ako po, sir.
Sige, Jehan, Bashir. Let's have Bashir. Jehan.
Yes, sir. The qualitative data po sa problem is the types of soup.
Okay, the types of soup, no? Meron tayong tomato bisque pa tayo. Okay. What
Yes,
else?
sir. The lentil.
Yes. Very good. What else? Tagbo. Okay, mura ka ganina ni
Sir, sir, Italian wedding, nuts,
nagpapacket.
broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, carrots. Isa pa ba na yun?
Okay, those are the kinds of vegetables. Okay?
Yes,
So those
sir.
are for the qualitative part. Okay, thank you. Okay, next. So we are done with this sample. And then, of course, according to your handout there, one possible solution, of course, the three cans of soup, two packages of nuts, four kinds of vegetables, and two desserts are the quantitative discrete data because you count them. Ano, kay three soup, two packages. So you count them. Therefore, that is an example of quantitative discrete data. Next, yung mga timbang, no, the weights of the soups, the 19 ounces, 14.1 ounces, the 19 ounces, those are your quantitative continuous because that is the result of your weighing. Okay. And then of course, yung qualitative naman, yung mga types of soups, yung iba't ibang sinabi pa ni Jehan, no? Ang sabi ni Jehan dito that we have the Italian wedding soup, we have the lentil soup, no? And then mentioned also by Rachel Tagbo that we have the different kinds of vegetables also. Okay, so those are categorical, therefore that those are examples of qualitative data. Okay, let's proceed. Again, we have, according to our diagram here, we have two types of variables. We have the qualitative and quantitative. Let's run through lang, children. For qualitative, we have dichotomic. No? Example for that is gender. Technically, yung una talaga, no, when I got to be exposed here, no, sa Emisumin, exposed talaga yung term. Emisumin, and then, nung nag-start akong mag-panel ng mga thesis, I really don't want to use gender sana sa profiling. Okay, because technically, if you're going to search gender, children, gender is a social construct. No, that's the time that meron na makikitang gay, lesbian, the LGBTQ. No, we call it gender at some point. If the option is if the options there, uh, kung ang options na gusto mong malaman would be male or female, you better use sex. No, that is based on technical kaya nga terms. But then again, here kasi I encountered they actually use or most of the thesis here use the term gender. Di ba sa liha? Sa
Yes,
liha,
sir.
no? Mm,
Opo.
gender yun na. So I actually got to know that at some point kasi since this is an Islamic city, and then at some point meron siyang problema with the term sex, no, because we actually equate it to another thing. But then again, the reason is of course to to get out of the term sex, no, to para hindi siya makakuha ng another connotation. That is why you are using gender, and I understand that. Okay. So for this, kaya dito example, dichotomic siya, children, as of the gender, so meaning to say we are referring to we're referring to male and female here. That is why gender is considered dichotomic. Para lang makita. Baka kasi when you go out, when you graduated here sa MSU, and then makaingon mo ba nga, hala, gender lagi yung binigay ni sir. Ni bakit ang gender ang daming options? Bakit nalagay siya sa dichotomic? Okay? So ngayon alam niyo na that technically gender, marami talaga siyang options. Gender may not refer to male or female. Okay? So when we say male or female, we are actually referring to sex. Okay? Because sex is actually the biological entity of the person, no? So anyway, marital status. So ito yung ibig sabihin ko, children, na technically talaga yung mga forms bitaw, especially sa Pilipinas, hindi pa kasi yan ina-acknowledge yung mga divorce sa Pilipinas, tama?
Yes, sir.
Oo.
Yes, sir.
Kaya long before, I actually encountered filling out form, no, long before, na hindi mo talaga makikita yung iba't iba pang kategorya ng marital status. Yung makikita ko lang talaga sa marital status ay single or married. Yun lang talaga. Now, that is why for this particular example, yung marital status ay nasa dichotomic. But do not forget, children, I did mention to you na parang magiging flexible siya, ha? Baka kasi pag makita kayo ng form, sabi ni sir na yung marital status, dichotomic. Bakit ang daming options? Okay? I told you that marital status in the context of here in the Philippines, we only have at some point single at saka married. But now, especially sa mga bigati na na-research, di ba? Sino pa yung YRC dito? Sa liha. Sa lihi lang kasi yung parang na, ano ko talaga.
Opo,
Sa liha,
sir.
di ba, no? Na, sa YRC natin, sa yung marital status natin, naka-stretch out pa yan. Punta pa tayo sa widow, widower, divorce, no? Parang ganyan. Okay? So that's the time that your marital status now will become polynomic. Okay? Another for qualitative polynomic children, we have the brand of PC. O bakit ba yung brand of PC naging polynomic? Bakit kaya? Kusniya. Kusniya, bakit kaya yung
Marami
brand of
yung
Kusniya? Ayun, tulog si Kusniya. Ayan. Okay, how about Omnia?
Sir, ano, sir?
Kusniya. Parang naalimungatan si Kusniya, no? Kusniya, bakit yung brand of PC natin ay nandyan sa polynomic? Bakit
Sir?
kaya yung brand of PC, kung titingnan mo sa screen natin, bakit yung brand of PC ay nasa polynomic? Bakit naging example yung brand of PC as polynomic? Bakit kaya?
Kasi, sir, there are many brand of PC, sir.
Okay, can you give me one? Kusniya, can you give me one?
Acer, sir.
Hi, Acer. Okay. We would like to thank our major sponsor, Acer. Okay. Another one. Ano pa bang brand kailangan natin ma-prove
Lenovo,
na
sir.
Lenovo, yes. Ano pa ba? Kusniya.
Then,
Ano pa? Yun lang, no? Kasi yun lang yung parang alam na alam natin. Sa Liha, ano pa bang brand ng PC?
Dell po, sir.
Ako'y
HP.
Dell, my goodness. Dell. No, Dell, yun yung sponsor namin. Meron kaming bagong laptops. Yung mga teachers, merong mga bagong laptop, no? Yung brand Dell. By the way, I would like to inform everyone that all of you will be getting your own laptop too. Okay? The university will be providing you laptops. Congratulations, no? Kaya laban lang. Yes. I think
yes.
oh yes. Diba?
Seryoso?
You will, yes, you will be getting also your laptops. Lahat ng estudyante na enrolled, no? You will be getting laptops, and then I think the brand is still the same Dell, parehas sa amua. Ay, di ba? Congratulations. Mo nang ayaw mo
Thank
para
you, sir.
pangutlang bantay. Oh. Din walay matulog-tulog mga balbal gyud mo ha bantay lang. Ano na may mong laptop. Okay.
Sir, hindi.
Matulog-tulog ang laptop. Okay, sige. Next, we have quantitative. By the way, according to the president, no, according to ICTC, you will be getting your laptop before August. If I'm not mistaken, no, if I'm not mistaken, before August, within the year. Meron kayong pa laptop. May pa laptop si press. Okay.
Excited na, sir.
Yes.
Sana po,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
Sana
Okay. No.
legit.
Yeah.
Sana matuloy, sir.
Matutuloy yan. Matutuloy yan. Okay. Let's pray for that. Next would be the quantitative. Let's go back. No, for the quantitative again, we have two. We have discrete and continuous. Please take note that when we say discrete, that is the result of counting. So, like for example, children and family. Ilang yung mag-siblings ni ano ba dito? Naifa. Naifa, ilan kayo, Naifa?
Apat lang, sir.
Apat, okay, 'di ba? Apat. Yung apat na yon, yung term na apat, that is an example of discrete. Now, how about ilan yung lalaki? Naifa.
Isa lang, sir. One.
Isa, okay. So, mean to say we have sa apat, meron kang one boy and three girls. So, that is the result of counting. Therefore, that is an example of discrete or quantitative discrete data. Now, another one is strokes on a golf hole. Of course, meron tayong pa-golf course dito. Social kayang emission main. Meron pa tayong pa-golf course. Now, strokes on a golf hole, ibig sabihin kung ilan yung napasok na bola sa hole, you can actually count that. One, two. Nya, kung banga yung kay ka, di yung kakasod, okay. Isara yun imong nasulod sa 10 kabok nimong attempts, isara yung nasulod. Okay? That is still counting. Therefore, that is an example of discrete data. Ako ha?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
we have 10 minutes left na lang. So, okay, anyway, next would be continuous. Okay, amount of income tax paid. So, ano po ibig sabihin? No? Yung income tax natin, children, or namin, for example, sa mga empleyado, hindi yan siya gi-count. Wala na siya gi-count ha. Bisag maingon mo nga, ilan kaya yung tax si Sir Fern? Ay, isa lang si Fern. Si Sir Fern. Ang sexy ni Sir Fern. So, 10 pesos lang yung tax ni Sir Fern. Hindi ha? the 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 income tax of a particular person is actually computed. Since it is computed, therefore it is a term as what we call continuous data. Sir, akala ko ba sir, weighted lang sir, yung timbang lang po, no? Yung mga natimbang. Okay, anyway, lahat ng i-measure, may it by computation, by at some point, that is an example of continuous data. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Anyway,
Opo, sir.
I think dito lang muna tayo. We'll stop until here. And then we will be having our short quiz siguro next meeting. I know hindi to siya next. We will be having our short quiz in a while. I will just post it and then I will give you the deadline. Of course, kung meron tayong pa short quiz children, ano lang yan siya. Hindi yan siya aabot ng 5 days yung deadline. No? So madali lang yan. I will be giving you anyway, I will be giving you the details. Again, children, kung meron man tayong short quiz, siguro that is good for 30 minutes only. So I will be giving you 30 minutes to answer that. So you have to submit it within 30 minutes, within 20 minutes, for example. Claro?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, any questions so far?
None so far, sir.
Walang
Wala, sir.
katanungan?
So
Wala,
far.
sir.
Wala na po,
Okay,
sir.
walang katanungan. So I will be